So I'm Randy from America's Parks, and over the years I've been asked to answer some questions that you've sent my way. So recently I've asked you to submit some more. We've received those questions and we're going to take some time to answer them. But before we go any further, you know these guys right here. You've seen them in the videos. These are my three daughters. We got Kayla, Natalie, and Haley helping me out over here. And Kayla, we got the timer set, don't we, for 15 minutes?
15 minutes.
Because we don't want to bore these people to death. So with that said, let's get right into it. Kayla, start us off.
All right, I have a question from Andy V. He would like to know about your editing process. How long does it take to you to put together like an episode?
Yeah, great question. Every minute of video takes me roughly 1 hour to produce. I use Adobe Premiere Pro, and much of my editing process happens in the evenings. I'm kind of a night owl, so when all these guys go to sleep, I got nothing to do for about 3 or 4 hours. I'll come back downstairs and edit videos. It's like my little escape, and I really enjoy doing that. And I'm pretty meticulous, and it's just a fun hobby for me to pass some time.
Well,
Great question.
Definitely pays off. I mean, you got some good quality coming out.
Oh, man. And I didn't pay her to say that either.
I do have to say. It's very nice
Plug.
Actually, I have another question for you, Dad. From Janice K. She wants to know, are there any parks in the States that you've never been in that you're planning on going to?
The only park I've not been to in the lower 48 is Isle Royale, or Isle Royal, as I'm told it's pronounced. And that's in Minnesota or Michigan, depending on how you slice it. And I've been in both of those states, so I guess that doesn't qualify. So if you're talking about a national park in a state that I've not been to, we're left with almost Alaska and Hawaii. So that would be a desire someday to get out that way.
Someday.
Go fund us.
All right. Kimberly H. wants to know, have you ever thought about getting a camper and doing a road trip?
You know, Kimberly, we did think about that. I'm going back about 15 years or so. We did consider getting a camper, but here's the problem. We live on the Jersey Shore, and the parks that we enjoy visiting are out in Utah to California. To take a camper with a family of 6 and drive that far is at least 3 days, and then 3 days back. That's a week. There goes all your vacation time. So it really wasn't feasible for us. And then when we considered the need to store the camper, to maintain the camper, to fix the camper when things break down, we just felt, you know, guys, it's a lot easier, is it not, just to get to a place and pitch a tent.
Yes.
And we've learned to love the tents.
We absolutely have.
It makes for some good stories.
Well, travel small, live big. Shout out to Jim and Heather. They want to know what park or adventure or hike surprised you the most and why.
Oh, that's a great question too. We researched these quite extensively, and I've been to many of the parks like 5 times, so really there's not many surprises anymore. But I think the one that surprised me the most was maybe the first trip that I went on, and that was with you.
Wow.
Back in 2009.
Thank you.
Because we didn't know what we were getting into then. And we did a number of parks, but Death Valley, probably, there's the answer you're looking for. Death Valley surprised me the most. I thought it was going to be some barren desert wasteland, and it was stunning. It was beautiful there.
Yeah.
And I was really shocked at how beautiful the desert could be after having grown up pretty much on the East Coast most of my life.
Yeah, the salt flats and the colors, it was like nothing you ever expected.
Well,
so
it's called Death Valley. You wouldn't expect much from it.
Yeah, that sounds like you want to go there now.
I kind of do, yeah. Maybe I'll just check out your video.
Oh!
Another good plug for the channel. You guys are awesome.
All right.
You can live here as long as you want if you keep throwing those shameless plugs my way. All right, what else we got, Natalie? Keep going.
David P's question.
David P. wants to know, says, your trips have always seemed extremely planned out. What resources do you use to prepare for your adventures?
David, all I basically use is a computer. I do research on the computer. I use a road atlas, which helps me get a general idea of the proximity between the parks. That's about it. When I get to a park, oftentimes I'll ask people and do some investigative work to try to find some things to do, but really it's the research off the computer. With the internet nowadays, there's so much at your fingertips in terms of knowledge. We try to get information from the park rangers, the locals.
The locals know everything. They know all the hotspots.
But
they don't want to tell us the hotspots.
Yeah, especially when they find out I might be putting their special secret sites on YouTube, which I'm very reluctant to do, by the way.
But you get it out of them. but you still get it out.
Sometimes.
Sometimes you just get lost and you stumble Sometimes you just get lost and you stumble upon a hidden gem too. So
That's a great point,
Gotta
Haley.
explore.
honestly,
That's
those
a
are
great
some good
point.
memories. All right, I have a question from Daria M. She wants to know any plans to do more videos of Yosemite, Zion, Arches, Monument Valley, and the surrounding areas.
Daria, you need to get more familiar with my channel because that's basically every place that I go. I think I've been to Bryce and Zion now 5 times. If you check out the channel, I got a lot of videos from those incredible places on there. You have good taste, Daria, because those are some of my favorite places as well. But I need to broaden the horizons a little bit, I think. So I have no problem going back, but I'd like to see some new places.
All right, Elementary Explorers. They want to know, what was the first park you ever visited?
Our good friends at Elementary Explorers, all the best to you guys. First park. If you consider the 400 national parks, Kayla, the first national site I went to in my life, I believe, was Cape Cod National Seashore.
Wow.
Back when we lived in New York, before we moved to Chicago, now we're back in the East Coast again. Mom and Dad, I'm going to say early 70s, took us there on 2 family vacations in the summer, and good memories. I was younger than Shane, but great memories going there. If you're talking about later on in life and the big 62 national parks, the first time I was exposed to those was 1995. It was the summer before I was married. I worked at an aquatic facility in the summer, and then I was a school teacher when the school year began, and I had about a 2-week window. And I got in the car and drove west and went from Chicago all the way to Yellowstone, down to southern Utah, over to Colorado, and then I made that long drive home on I-80 through Nebraska and Iowa. And that's, in a sense, what got me hooked on the national parks. That was my first official national park exposure.
Sorry at all.
Nice.
Well, now
Created the monster.
Looks like we got a question from Stacy R.
Stacy R says, we're tent campers, so I'd love to learn about your logistics of flying to the location and then tent camping while you're there.
A couple things come to mind, Stacy. Number one, I would say, depending on whether you like the evenings at the campsite, in regards to a campfire, a sunset, chilling out at the campsite, the best thing to do is stay there throughout the night and then leave early in the morning. The disadvantage to that is that you leave in the morning, no matter how early you leave in the morning, you will lose sunlight time at the park you were traveling to. So if you don't care about evening activities, as special as those can be to many people, the best thing to do is do your activities. When it starts getting dark, get in the car, drive the 2-3 hours, whatever is necessary to the next site, pitch that tent in the dark, and then in the morning you're ready to go. The other piece of advice that comes to mind is try to piggyback your campsites in a row where you're not setting up the tent and taking it down every single day. And we've been in situations like that, right, girls, where we'll go to a place and be away for 6 days and 6 different days at a different campground. And it's nice when you can, like we did in New Mexico, when we found one sort of a beachhead place, and then we just did day trips from there, and you could come back to a tent that's already established and a campsite that's already put together, and you don't have to pack up and reassemble the campsite again. So that would probably be my best advice regarding tents.
Well, Julia C. has one for you now.
Julia C.
They're asking, what was your favorite view ever? And their guess is Angel's Landing.
Julius, you know me well. Angel's Landing would be high on the list. Angel's Landing was incredible. Glacier Point, you were there at Yosemite?
Oh, yeah.
Drive up.
You were there at Yosemite.
That was beautiful.
Was amazing.
Breathtaking.
That was incredible. Now,
Even better was on top of Half Dome.
and you probably know Natalie from the Half Dome. By the way, that is our best, most viewed video on America's Parks.
Wow.
I think over 250,000 views now. Natalie's Half Dome video. That was amazing. Now, it takes a lot of work to get to that view. You almost get the same view at Glacier Point, and you can drive up, and anybody can make the necessary means to get to that viewpoint and understand and see that vista and that perspective. Other good views.
Mount St. Helens for sure.
Mount St. Helens,
That one was a great view. It was like, well, it was so high, it was just like blue in every direction. You couldn't even see like trees. It was incredible.
And don't you appreciate a lot more when we strained ourselves so much to
Yes.
get to that peak?
That might be half of the reason why
The most difficult hike I've ever done, and a hike that you vowed never to do again.
Never again. It was just a low point for me.
But the view made it all worth it.
Right, yes.
In a sense.
It was one of my greatest accomplishments, I would say.
Crater Lake, Crater Lake is impressive. Bryce,
Yeah.
been a Bryce, you've been a Bryce.
Yeah.
Bryce, the Hoodoos,
It's good views.
yeah. Spider Rock at Canyon de Chelly. And I'm working on a new video of my top 15 national parks minus the big 62. And little preview there. Check that video out. Should be available in a few weeks, but I'm going to profile that park because that is a hidden gem. And that view at Canyon de Chelly was amazing.
So we've just listed a ton of views here. Julia C has another question to kind of follow up.
Julia C,
How do you,
doubling up on us,
all
okay.
with all these places we've seen, like, how do you get the time and the energy to go and do all of this stuff?
Julia C, it is all adrenaline, baby. It is, you get there and your feet are running the moment you hit the ground. You take a vacation oftentimes when you come back from your vacation because it is just intensity. It's a lot of work, but we enjoy it, at least I hope you guys do. I enjoy it.
We do.
So much that you're just going. You're seeing so many new things and incredible things and talking to so many wonderful people that you just keep going. But when you get back, usually about a day later, it kicks in. And I need about 3 or 4 days to detox and unwind a little bit to get back into my normal routine again. But we go hard.
Yeah.
We go hard, and that's where I get the energy from. It's the adrenaline and the rush of going to these amazing places.
So Jeannie actually wants to know, do you ever want to go to a resort and just relax?
That's an interesting follow-up question there, Natalie. And Jeannie, I know you, and you're causing trouble by that question because you know my answer already. And the answer is no. 10 minutes. 10 minutes. I'd be good at a resort for about 10 minutes. And then after 10 minutes, I'd be challenging you guys to races in the
You'd be
pool.
bored out of
and
your mind.
building sandcastles and burying each other at the beach. I would go nuts. So, Jeannie, 10 minutes would be fine at a resort.
Okay, well, Pat K had a question for you. How would you recommend going about planning something on a budget, like your goal?
That's a great question because you can see I got a lot of mouths to feed here, and there's 2 more and a dog that are not represented in this video right now. And on a pasture salary, the money isn't actually rolling in. So we travel very inexpensively, and it's worked for us, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We've made some sacrifices, but it's worked for us. Here's a few things I'll throw your way really quick. I'm actually thinking about doing a special video just on this alone. Number 1, we try to travel as much as we can with airline points. So get yourself a good credit card, pay it off on time always, don't go into debt, but accumulate those points. That'll help you with the airfare. When you get to a place, don't stay in hotels. Hotels are the biggest waste of money. At least $100 for a good hotel. You've seen some of my videos where I've tried to experiment with hotels under $100, and they're just, with all due respect to some of these places, they're just disgusting. So you pay at least $100 to put your head down for 7 hours and then get up again and leave. If you have the money, go for it. But if you don't, Pat K, right?
Okay.
I would say tent, camp everywhere you go. You're talking $10 to $25 or so per campsite. Another piece of advice would be to eat out of the car. Restaurants, in my humble opinion, biggest waste of money and the biggest waste of time. You have to wait, and then money-wise, you got to tip. Go to Walmart. That's what we do. We're going to let you in on a little secret right here. We go to Walmart, we stock up, we get all the food we need, and then we basically eat out of the car. Once in a while, we'll go out, get a sandwich, but you're in, you're out at a fast food restaurant. If we really want to splurge, we'll get a pizza. But it's when you guys are on your best behavior. I'll treat you a pizza. But, we're at 15 minutes already.
15 minutes, yeah.
All right, rapid fire. Got any more left?
Fire left?
Yeah, Mountaineering Mania. Do you have a least favorite national park?
Mountaineering Mania, that is a trick question, and I'm not going to answer that one, only because I will probably offend somebody. I did a video, you might have seen I put it up recently, of my 15 favorite national parks, and I think people wrote in representing every other national park in the Big 62 saying, where was my park? So, sure, I like some more than others, but
How can a father choose?
How can a father choose a best child? That's the best way to put it,
That's a good
Natalie.
point.
That was
That's a
outstanding.
really good point.
That was outstanding. I will take the politically correct answer and say they're all wonderful, which they are. All right, any more?
Ray B, do you have a Patreon?
No, I don't have a Patreon account. I have a PayPal account on my other website called gracequotes.org, but I have not really expected individual people to sponsor me.
Chad W, what kind of camera do you use?
Panasonic G9.
Tim wants to know, what national forest or state park do you think should be promoted to a national park?
It's a good question, but I am a one-trick pony. I basically only go to the national parks. Some of those places in Utah and Nevada and Arizona that are the BLM lands would be in the running for me based upon my limited exposure. So Escalante comes to mind, Bears Ears, Gold Butte, Parashant.
Allegheny.
Allegheny, we went there. We had a great time as a family,
That was
didn't we?
nice.
I like Allegheny a lot.
Yeah, good. All right, Ann W, last question. Do you girls like hiking? Guys, you like hiking?
2 thumbs up.
I love hiking.
We like hiking.
Yeah.
Second question from Ann W. How do you manage to do the things when we were younger and like doing stuff like that?
When did we start? With the two of you, you were about 11 years old or so?
5th grade.
Yeah, the individual trips, 5th grade. So
I was a sophomore in high school, so I mean, it's different for every child, I would say.
you go with their level.
You really gotta, feel it out.
I think that's a good way to put it, Haley. If you're planning for your kids, your grandkids, you need to know what their limits are. You don't want to push them too hard where it's not a pleasant trip for them anymore, or you put them, because they're too young, in a position of danger. Technically speaking, there's not much dangerous unless you do crazy hikes like Angel's Landing or something. And even then, I think if you're responsible, it's not that bad. But you're still going to places. Wouldn't you guys agree that you're walking up? There's ledges.
Yep.
There's
Yeah,
they're
be
just
careful.
they're just risks involved still, even at the most mellow national parks. You need to be careful. All right, let's wrap it up right here. We still have more questions, don't we?
Nope, that's it for me.
No, we have another stack.
For another stack. The other stack, yeah.
You didn't know about the other stack.
The other stack.
All right, we're going to make a part 2. What do you guys say?
Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna fold out that right now.
All right.
do it.
Thanks for watching. If you haven't done so yet, please subscribe to the channel. I feel well out of place closing out the video here in my living room. There's room for you on every national park adventure.
I did.